Sup? It's your Goth Oliver, hanging with an Infinity Gauntlet. This one, you're like, hey, the colors are wrong. Like, what's going on here? That's not where the time stone goes, or etc. etc. Because this is the comic book one. That's where the colors are on the comic book. The different setup. I actually like this setup better. I think it balances the colors better because it goes yellow, blue, purple, orange, green, and red. Rather than the movie one, which has, what is it? Purple, blue, red, orange, green, yellow. Yeah. I like the alternating, I guess is what I meant. Because of the yellow, blue, yeah, it's all contrasting and a little more opposites hanging. Anyway. I'm not going to cut that out. So I wanted to talk about Infinity Stones, though. I wanted to talk about fan theories and what people were talking about with Wakanda and the Soul Stone before... Where's it the other way? Before... What do you guys see? Am I doing it? Before Black Panther, the first Black Panther in 2018 film came out, people were speculating that maybe the Soul Stone was in Wakanda. Did I do an intro? Did I edit and put an intro there? Otherwise I just awkwardly stood there. If I didn't... Okay, well hopefully there was like an intro, or maybe it's fine, I just awkwardly stand there. There could have been like a music thing, like a transition. I hope I uploaded the right one. I should upload the one that has that. I'll do that. I hope I remember. Okay. So, right, back in 2018, where's the Soul Stone? Everyone's trying to make a guess. What movie could it show up in? Because we knew the Power Stone, the Aether, the Tesseract. There's 3 stones, right? Well, then there were 3 more. Oh, the Mind Stone. Pretty much confirmed. Then the Time Stone shows up. Then, where's the Soul Stone? So we found out there's a Marvel Cinematic Universe art book that a lot of the planning for some of these movies goes way back, that originally when Inhumans, back when that was going to be a movie, it's going to take place on the moon, and the Soul Stone was going to be there with the Inhumans. That movie ended up not getting made. They kind of took that show. That's a whole other conversation. You're probably aware of it, but they made that into a TV show. Didn't get a movie, but the art book kind of established that. But these things change all the time. They change right up to the release of the movie, from editing and etc. It goes concept art, writing. Other movies get released and they have to rewrite, reshoot. So just because they were going to maybe put the Soul Stone in Humans doesn't mean they were actually going to do it. It was an idea that someone had. When they made the movie, through that process, might not have been a thing. But it's still an interesting idea of they were going to have 3 stones on Earth or at Earth. Because who knows how the end of Inhumans was going to be. Maybe the Earth or the moon was struggle and battle and they had to leave and go live on Earth, which would have introduced the Inhumans to that. Or they could have just hung on the moon. Because the Mind Stone with Vision would have been there. The Time Stone would have been with Doctor Strange, although he seems to have the ability to go other places, so it's kind of safe there. But then the Soul Stone would have been there. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Would have been the battle of 2, would have been more of an Infinity War, because Thanos would have had some stones, they would have had some stones. Would have been cool to see them use that in Infinity War, actually fight with the stones, but oh well. Vision just kind of was out of it. But I'm not someone who actually ever, but I was not someone who thought Soul Stone's in Wakanda. I can't wait, you're going to put I put ideas out there. I'm a writer. I never shot someone down who's like, I think the Soul Stone's going to be Wakanda. I kind of try to look at it creatively, like a writer or director. Like, what would they do? But I didn't want to disagree with the idea, because you never know what someone's idea is going to be, or how they can fit pieces into place and stuff. So I was like, I don't think that's going to happen. But I don't like the sort of I was right I win because I predicted a thing. I'm like, who cares? So I don't hold that over anyone. Anyone that thought the Soul Stone was Wakanda, I want to say I'm kind of here to defend them, even though I wasn't one of those people, because I think it was actually very viable. So you have vibranium, which is this sort of magical metal and all the things it does. I think it was a good opportunity for people to theorize that what if the Soul Stone was in the vibranium? What if it was lost in space? No one knew what the Soul Stone was. And when the Tesseract was there, the stones get drawn to each other, that it headed to Earth somehow through the magic of these things. Didn't quite make it to where the Tesseract was, but it made it to Earth. Of course, the Tesseract was then taken to Asgard and stolen away, but still, Soulstone would have been there. Because we don't know how long Odin was hiding it there. I think I could be wrong. There's going to be some nerds in the comments correcting my timeline of when Odin possibly put the Tesseract on Earth and when the meteorite hit Wakanda. Because I like the idea that they should be in different places. It's better protecting. But the movies kind of contradict that all the time. Where there was this time stone on Earth the whole time. So, whoops. Putting the Tesseract there, not such a great idea, especially if the Soul Stone was there, but maybe Earth is just really hard to find. Maybe there's other reasons to put it on Earth. Even though there's, like, portals from Asgard, But really one of the bigger elements of the Soul Stone that I thought might have helped thread things better is in Wakanda they have sort of afterlife, the dreamland, the ancestor plane that they can go to. And that's a cool thing, it's a unique thing, like that's a Wakanda thing. But then a lot of people didn't really get the Soul Stone plane. And I would not be surprised to find out if in the writing of Infinity War, if they thought that they could make the Soul Stone, Soul Plane, and the Ancestor Plane the same place. I think that would have helped people understand what Thanos was seeing, is he was seeing something, a vision in the Soul Stone, if when T'Challa goes there, it was the same exact sort of imagery or special effects or what have you. But instead they're separate things, but I'm like, that would have made a lot more sense, because the Soul Stone doesn't really do anything in the movies. Like there's a couple times it lights up on the gauntlet. Like when we see the stone light up, that's how we know that Thanos is using that power. So I guess a couple of times it lights up, so he's doing power of death or something, word of death, whatever, to try to kill Doctor Strange or something, or Thor or whoever. But other than that, we don't really get to see it function. So if it was the same as the Ancestor Plane, I think that would have made more sense for that. And they cut an ending from Endgame where Tony Stark was in the Soul World. And they filmed that. You can find deleted scenes of that. That's gone because I guess test audiences didn't get it. Which is fair, because what is this? What is that? But if that were the same exact thing, so it's like, oh, it's the thing from Black Panther, because it's the Soul Stone, that's where they're going to. They're going to this cerebral place, this other place. Like, that would have made a lot of sense. So I think some of the stuff was in place to do it, but this is the thing about writing and creativity, is you can kind of do anything. And it seems like the people involved in making Black Panther really wanted to focus on just Wakanda, which is fair, it's reasonable, there's a lot of interesting stuff about that. But would have helped. Would have hurt Captain Marvel. Glad they didn't put it in Captain Marvel. There was fan theories about that. I'm like, I miffed that the Tesseract was yet again used. It's had more appearances than Hulk at this point or something. Like, it's insane. But yeah, it's always a fan theory till the writers decide at the last minute to confirm or deny with a single line of dialogue. I'll take sometimes. They can add it in post, and suddenly all these people are correct. So, but I think it's fun. It's a good thing to explore. I'll always remember George Lucas doing a Star Trek. He's doing a Star Trek documentary, and they ask him. You know, it's like he's like, oh, we get a question about. Is that gonna pick up? We're gonna continue. So that's going with what I'm about to talk about. Good question about what would win in a fight, the Millennium Falcon or the Starship Enterprise. And George Lucas is like, that's an exercise in creativity. Like, exactly right. It's whatever you want. Because that's what this is. It's whatever you want. So you can get into all the minutiae of it. Could do this, this, this. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the possibilities. So thanks. That's all. Thank you. Don't like, don't subscribe, don't do any of that stuff. Don't comment. I don't care.